Testing, testing one. Testing, testing, testing 1 2 1 2, testing 1 2 1 2, testing 1 2 3 4, testing 1 2 3 4. Our YouTube is not receiving enough video feed for this to work properly. We don't know why. We won't tell you. Why? Because we're ales who don't know how to run our multi-million-dollar business. Testing, testing 1 2 3, testing, testing 1 2 3. Testing, testing 1 2 3, testing, testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 1 2. Hey there, hi there, ho there. This is RHJunior, RHJunior Reality Check coming to you live over the internet through a system of tubes known as the boob tube. We call YouTube, bringing you another contribution to the litter lining the sides of the information superhighway. A little thing I like to call spleen squeezins. Me family man family hard pay for me much give me pimp blame for you seat down a freak down a peanut hey me cheap papa do even GJ put up fun say hey ho have a he ba he papa who ba shape of fall for this hey oh baby damn room for day hey, how are y'all doing out there? This is me. I'm not just as abnormal as always. Testing, 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 testing. Hey there, hi there, hi there, hi there. La di da 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 da, la da dee, la da da do. Yes, I've been tinkering with the sound. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I'm sitting here in my little booth, in my little computer desk. With my collapsing little computer desk and my collapsing little computer chair, with my great big fat behind, and I am sitting here pushing the buttons and changing the dials and fiddling and faddling with the twisty knobs and the stuff, and I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. But I do know this. I've been told. I've been informed that that having a like a face. A face on your live stream helps. Header. So, with that in mind, allow me to present my digital proxy. Spleen. I was trying to shrink the name down so it wouldn't be directly behind his head, but it's not working. So I'll just turn off the header and leave the head. Ha ha ha. La 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 la. This is me. How do you do? If I knew a way to make oil can. I have no way to move the mouth. I can't make his head move or turn or anything. But we have a face. You have a face that you can attach to the name. Doesn't it disturb you deeply? Okay, we got 2 playbacks and 1 concurrent viewer. I have no idea what that means. And the music stopped. So now we start the background music. Hooray! I have no. I'm playing. It's called a list. Is happy music. This does not sound happy. Oh well. Peppy, in a Morticia Adams sort of way. Hello, Father. We're going out to the tombstones today. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Nothing I can do. It's just nothing I can seem to do to make things work right. It just doesn't want to work. It just says stream settings, analytics, stream health. Let's look at stream health. Poor. Well, screw you then. Viewers. Come. Just sit right back and hear a tale of a fateful trip. Artist who went on the net and started to completely flip. I don't know. Apparently, according to this, there's only one person watching, and I'm thinking it's me. I'm going to wait. I'm trying. I tried to share. But nobody cared. Cancel. Share. I put it on Facebook, but it won't. But for some reason, Twitter is being just being a little bitch right now. Just being a whiny little bitch, and it won't load up. Tweet. I think all my photograph images are like 5 years out of date. It's not like I've changed much. I've gotten fatter and older. There, we're on Twitter. Aren't you thrilled? Okay, we've been running for 3 whole minutes. It's a new record. Average watch time 3 minutes. Well, actually, we've been running for 7.7 minutes and 45 seconds. Ding! At the tone. So I'm doing this. Okay, I'm stalling for time here, folks. For anybody who's watching this thing as it's being recorded, I'm stalling for time, waiting for somebody to log on. Okay, it's a Sunday afternoon at 6 p.m. So I have no idea. You should be in church, young man. Yeah, I should. But, first of all, they can't fit me through the doors of the bus. Ha. Well, not that I know. I haven't, they haven't exactly sent out a bus for me or anything, but I would have to sit there in church in a hospital gown because I haven't got any clothes to wear. I've got like some cut-off sweatshorts, some t-shirts, which are too small for me even now, and that's about it. Like I could wear my bathrobe and hospital gown combo. It's a fabulous ensemble for the for the nearly homeless hermit living in a trailer. And I haven't got any socks or shoes to put on my feet. My feet are so swollen. I'm barefoot 24/7, baby. Thankfully, the only way I could possibly become pregnant is with an alien chest burster, so we're safe from that horrifying sight. So, boy, I really screwed up an order today. I went on and I said, I've been ordering too much food through takeout, and I said, okay, one last time I'll put an order in. Burger King delivers here. Burger King delivers. There you go. Away we go. And I ordered up Burger King, and the website glitched. You can blame it on the computer, you can blame it on the website, you can blame it on the connection, you can blame it on anything. But basically what happened is that I ordered a big $20 family meal. I figured, that'll last me a couple of days, that'll last me a while. And I ended up buying $50 worth of food. Glick. Gleek. That was just grand. I have got a refrigerator full of Burger King bags. I screwed the pooch that time. The worst thing that ever happened to me is finding out that I could get food delivered like that. If I'd have found out, why it's a crying shame really that our society, we figured out how to get fast food delivered to our front door, but regular food, regular groceries, people are sort of sluggishly coming around to that idea. Like it's a slow, painful, agonizing process to not cook the food and send it to us, Oh no, we can't do this. It's too avant-garde. The pizza guys have proven that people will send ridiculous amounts of money out to get food delivered to their front door, but nobody does grocery delivery until just like a year or two ago. Kids, if you're digging around through the archaeological finds and you're reading about this, congratulations, you just listened to history in the making. The transition from people going to the grocery store to people getting groceries delivered to them. It seems like an obvious idea to me. If you could get a pepperoni pizza delivered, you can get a pepperoni pizza delivered to you, but can you get the flour, the yeast, the oil, the pepperoni, the cheese, the tomatoes? No, you can't get those delivered. The pizza guys could just box up the ingredients. Here you go. Ooh, it's a home pizza kit. People would go for it. And if a pizza place can afford to assemble and cook the food before sending it to you and still make a huge profit, a grocery store could do the same thing and just skip over the cooking part and make an even bigger profit. But no, it took everybody being forced to lock themselves up indoors before they switched over and well, gee, maybe we ought to switch to a delivery system. Stupid COVID virus. And like I said, COVID, is silver cloud, silver lining. You get what I'm saying? Ill wind that blows no good. The COVID virus is basically, culturally speaking, it's killing off a lot of deadwood. I'm not talking about people here. I'm talking about business models. The comic book industry, for example, it was wheezing along, like a dog with 3 broken legs. Urgh, urgh, urgh. And it was determined, but they couldn't seem to quite get the message that, and then people, the sales were dwindling away because they were getting all social justice, woke, warrior, leftist bullcrap in their comics, turning, they basically turned every DC and Marvel comic into a Jack Chick tract for the left. Anyway, and fewer and fewer people were buying. Most people were going to the comic book stores to buy older issues, or to get comic book stores were selling everything but comics. At a certain point, and people were going there to get their manga and anime, and but the American comics were sitting there on the shelves gathering dust and growing mold, and but they refused to change their business model. They refused to adjust their business model. They refused to adjust their attitude about the product they were making, because they figured they were at the time they were it. and there was nothing that could kill them. Then COVID came along, and guess what? People couldn't go, fat, sweaty basement dwellers who never showered couldn't go out and, waddle their way to the to the comic book store to stand around and sweat nervously as they asked the girl behind the counter to give them a copy of the latest issue of Spawn. And suddenly, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, and like farewell, DC and Marvel Comics are crashing and burning, and we're talking, like one of those long drawn out fiery plowing into the earth for a mile, fiery explosion crashes, and then you have people, you couldn't get anything up until this year. You couldn't get anything delivered in this frickin' town. I'm serious. I mean, I live in a town where you can't even get the Chinese food delivered. And now, surprise, they don't want their customers swarming into a place, so they've got delivery. They send out one guy with a paper mask and a big long stick to hold the food on. To go door to, here's your food. Sneeze real hard and they faint. But it was just bad, and changes that have been, and more schools, because the schools had to close down. They're starting to seriously use. We have been able to teach kids at home without having to. The model of forcing hundreds or even thousands of children from miles around to be carted in like cattle, loaded on buses, and shipped all the way, miles across the country, to have classes in an overcrowded, underfunded, poor, malevolently, no, I won't even say poorly designed, I'll say malevolently designed building, and get a substandard education, and, out of sight of the parents. And now, surprise, COVID virus, and the kids had to stay home, and they go, and finally, they woke up. Wow, you mean it's like the 21st century now? And everybody has a camera, everybody has a cell phone, everybody has a computer in their house now. And those that don't, they're so dang dirt cheap, and the internet is so dang dirt cheap. We could take the lunch money fund and give everybody internet, and suddenly everybody is starting to have school online, like we should have been doing 20 to 40 years ago. We should have been doing it 20 or 30 years ago. But, the technology is matured enough. Finally, people aren't freaking out at the idea, it's new, we mustn't touch it. It's like, okay, boomer. Anyway, we had to reach a crisis point where people had to start. Winston Churchill used to say that we could always count on America, our allies in America, to do the right thing after they've exhausted all other options. I'm like, yeah, that's the attitude in America. It's human, but yeah, speaking as an American, yeah. We've been sitting on social and cultural and political changes that have been necessary for decades, that have been necessary for centuries, that have been feasible for decades, but nobody is willing. Nobody wanted to be the first one to do it. Everybody's sitting around like that life serial commercial. I don't want to try progress. Do you want to try progress? No, let this other country try progress. He won't like it. He hates everything. I'm talking real progress, not progressiveness. On progressiveness. Okay, according to this, we've got 2 concurrent viewers. Okay, 2 concurrent viewers, would you please type something in the live chat window so I know you're alive? Please. Please. It's so lonely. There's nobody here to keep me company except a bunch of bags of cheeseburgers. It's terrible. The cheeseburgers aren't much conversationalists. I'm gonna be eating fast food for the next 2-3 days at least. Really screwed up. I have no self-control as it is, but I managed to accidentally order $40 worth of food. Actually, $50. It came to $50 after delivery. But delivery and all that other crap. $50 worth of Burger King food, just to give you an idea. French fries don't keep. It's depressing. But I've got French fries sitting in the fridge. That's the ultimate and forlorn hope. I'll just pop them in the toaster oven later. But anyway, what was homeschooling? Teachers are freaking out. Teachers are freaking out because they're looking on the cameras and noticing that the parents are sitting there too. And why are you spying on my class? You're teaching my kids. I'd like to know what you're up to. They actually had one school tried to tell the parents, please don't look over your children's shoulder while they're taking our online courses. And you could just, you just you could see the warning flags. Boing. It's an outdated model, really. It's the way we do things is, look. Let me put it this way: shopping. There was people don't realize there was a time, people did things very, very differently in our great grandparents' time. In my great grandparents' time, it wasn't. It wasn't that people started having grocery stores built. Where you take a grocery. We're used to the idea. We get a grocery cart. We go into the grocery store. We go and we pick out our groceries off the shelves, and we come up to the front of the store and then pay. Back in the day, back before supermarkets, the standard model was you walked in. You gave the guy behind the counter a list of things you wanted. He fetched them and bagged and boxed them up and then gave them to you. Here you go, and here's your, give me your money, and here we go. Of course, once they started building supermarkets, way too many customers, for them to have their clerks do that. So they started the whole shopping cart model. The whole, where you went around and picked out your stuff. And I remember how pissed everybody was when those self-scanning grocery carts came out. But there you go. It's they're going to more and more trouble trying. The whole business model of the of the grocery store is built around the idea of getting more and more people gathered together in a single building. That's the model of every business right now. This is the fundamental idea of how business is run. Is that you set up a brick and mortar building, and you get lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of the people to come through your front door, crowd around, swap germs, buy their stuff and leave, possibly with a new plague. We didn't realize that what we were doing was making a plague center when we first started this, and then things like the Spanish flu came along, and then before after that, actually the Spanish flu was before supermarkets, I believe. But and then along comes the Wuhan virus, the China virus, the bat soup virus, and suddenly all the lazy bastards that have been sitting on, they've been given brilliant ideas for decades and sat on them. This COVID virus, it's not. I think it's been largely to our benefit. If we can take the benefits of whether, okay, first of all, the COVID virus is not particularly lethal. The survival rate is something like 99.5%. You have to be either chronically severely ill, very elderly, or both. That's where all these deaths are coming from. That's where most of these deaths are coming from. And by and large, it's just a really unpleasant strain of flu for most people. And it's probably going to be something we live with for the rest of our lives. It's probably going to become a seasonal thing like the flu itself. Anyway, they look around, and people panicked enough. This has been a test run. This has been a test run for a real plague. It's a pandemic, but compared to our ancestors used to have to deal with diseases that make the COVID virus look like a bout of the sniffles. You could go on for the Spanish flu, malaria, the Black Plague, and on and on and on and on and on. And still they went out, they still went outdoors and breathed fresh air once in a while. They still gathered together and met in large groups. Okay, but this is people have overreacted to it, which has been to our benefit. It's not always been good, but it's been to our benefit if you can follow that logic. We've well, anyway, it's forcing a lot of bad business models. It's it's been that final it looks like it's been that final lame horse shot to the head. Looks like it's time for Trigger to take his last nap. Anyway, and it's also made a lot of complacent people painfully aware of how far and how out of control certain politicians get if you give them even the lightest excuse to take power. All these people that are making all these crazy rules, or they're sending out cops to chase down joggers, on empty beaches and crap like that. All these ridiculous COVID restrictions that they they pushed. It's mostly Democrat mayors and governors that are doing it. And everybody else is either coping or just giving them a finger and going on with their lives. But anyway, it's made people aware. This is what they do with Chinese flu. Now, what are they going to do when something really serious happens? It's going to be butt clowns as far as the eye can see. Okay, YouTuber 1752, you are the audience. Glad to see you, man. I'm sorry, I haven't managed to do anything. I managed to do a little writing, and I don't know what to say. But every time I sit down to try and push forward, the forward pushes back. Just pulling a blank right now. Anyway, Okay, let's talk about some things. I watched, you know, Netflix gave me one of these, watch for 30 days free deals. So I said, sure, no problem. Click, and, just take it and exploiting it. If they're gonna give me 30 days to free TV for hey, it's easier than going to the movies. Anyway, I've been watching, and I watched also, I got Prime. I got Prime stuff on Amazon. So they give you all sorts of stuff, like free delivery, free this, free that, free TV, watch. But anyway, point is, I've watched the last two seasons of The Boys. Now, for those who don't know, The Boys is a superhero. It's a superhero TV show. It's a deconstruction of superhero genre. It's based off a comic book by the same name, written by, I believe, Garth Ellis. Garth Ellis, Garth Ennis, whatever his name is. Well, let me just state this. Let me just state this. Stop letting people who hate superheroes write comics. I think what Garth Ennis is doing is he's pushing as hard as he can, trying to see what he can do to get fired, just so he can stop drawing superhero comics. Every time he pisses people off that nobody wants to see him again, they drag him back in eventually. But you're such an avant-garde genius. No, go away. I hate you all. Anyway, The Boys. The idea is that The Boys is basically a world where the superheroes are managed by a mega corporation called Vault, Vought, and basically they're celebrity assholes. With imagine the assholes in Hollywood right now. Their privilege, their arrogance, their obliviousness, their shallowness, and throw in complete sociopathy and superpowers on top of that, and that's the world of The Boys. Well, anyway, basically the story starts out. There's this wimpy little, just ordinary nerdy little guy. He's meeting his girlfriend, and they're so much in love, and they're standing by the road, and boom, a super speedster. She takes one step off the curb, and she gets hit by a super speedster so violently. He was going so fast, she was literally reduced to giblets. And the guy and the speedster, he just says something like, I can't stop, and takes off. And the guy is left standing there holding the girl's severed hands. Those are the only parts of her that are left. Everything else is splattered all over the road and all over him. And just to give you an idea, let's put it this way: The Boys, they actually toned it down from the comic. I kid you not. That's just the opening sequence, and the whole show is actually toned down from the comic. Well, anyway, this guy, he's a mess. Vought tries to buy him off with like a $50,000 and a non-disclosure agreement, and the guy's just walking. He's just shell-shocked. And this guy called Billy Butcher shows up, claims to be from the CIA, and says his job, he's trying to, he knows that, the superheroes, especially the main superhero team of Vought, the seven most powerful superheroes in the world, are a bunch of sociopathic psychotics and criminals. and he's trying to bust him. And and that's the start of the story. It turns out that Billy Butcher is actually a rogue, doing his own thing, and the boys are just a bunch of they're just a bunch of borderline criminals, but they are the only ones who are trying to bring down Vought and the Seven and the whole superhero conspiracy. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because I've noticed this. There's a thread in the. Basically, it boils down to this: is that one of the things that the supers and Vought are trying to do is they're trying to sell the idea of superhero, of capes, people with superpowers in the military. And the military is like, hell no, we don't want these guys in the military. And I'm like, yeah, right. But anyway, what they do is that they or rather the leader of the Seven, Homelander, who is basically Superman with a Captain America suit, he secretly distributes this super chemical that where the supers get their powers. It turns out that Vought has been Vought is actually I'm getting tangled up here. It turns out that super terrorists are springing up all over the world, and we need the superheroes to work with the military to stop the terrorist threat. But the super terrorists, okay, stop me if you've heard this before. The terrorists aren't really the terrorists are just the puppets of this corporation that's trying to start a war to make more money. And there's the terrorist threat is entirely fabricated, and the real enemy is the government and the corporation that are conspiring with the right wing to does this sound familiar yet? Yeah, it's just like that terrible Iron Man 3. Okay, Iron Man 3. He was supposed to meet up with one of his classic villains, the Mandarin. The Mandarin. The Mandarin in the comics was a martial artist who got hold of 10 magic rings. Each one gave him a different power. And he was Iron Man's mortal enemy. And in the movies, he was the leader of a terrorist organization, and we're in the patriotism, and we're all going to stop the terrorist group, and etc. etc. Except it turns out that the Mandarin is actually a puppet of a corporation that is trying to make millions off of starting a war. And does this sound familiar yet? I've noticed more and more of these stories. Every time, if a Middle Eastern terrorist features even remotely anywhere in the story, it'll start out with it'll be a Middle Eastern terrorist, but halfway through, the Middle Eastern terrorist isn't even really an issue. It's some evil corporation or the American government that is trying to start a false front war, and it's the same plot every time. The mad Mullah Abdullah, who is blowing people up, isn't halfway through you find out he's not really a Muslim and he's not really a terrorist. The entertainment industry has been in so many babies. Most babies it doesn't do anything, but a handful of babies will develop. Will grow up to it'll change them, and they'll grow up to have superpowers. And it turns out that Vought is was actually a corporation founded by an escaped Nazi from World War II, who was continuing the experiments the Nazis. The only evil that they can believe in for a plot device is the Nazis. And what a surprise! All they seem to call any conservative person in this country is a Nazi. Gee, I can't seem to see the connection. It's just bad. It's no. They refuse. The left and the media. The complacent, fat, half asleep, self-indulgent celebrity culture of the left refuses to believe that the threat of Islamic terrorism is a real thing. The Twin Towers falling was a wake-up call, but everybody hit the snooze alarm. They've been reading too many comments. They expected the fight against Islam to be over in like a couple of months or a couple of years at most. We won World War II in 5 years. Jeez. And they think that if they pretend that the Muslims are not a tangible world threat, that Islam is not a tangible world, not Islamic extremism. All Islamic extremism, they used to call them Islamic fundamentalists, but that sounded like too much like admitting that the terrorists were getting back to the fundamentals of their religion. Which they are. I'm sorry. They've been terrorists. The Muslim world and Islam has been built and sustained on terrorism since the days of Muhammad. Muhammad himself was backstabbing, murderous, warmongering pedophile. And it's only been downhill ever since. But nobody wants to believe. They refuse to believe the evidence of their own eyes. They watched the Twin Towers come down, and within 15 minutes they were all going around talking about Jewish conspiracies. 21 Muslims, boom, fly into a building, and immediately it was the Jews. Serious? What the hell? They'll believe it was anything. They'll believe it was a government conspiracy. They believe that the building was wired with explosives and made to collapse. They'll believe. They'll believe that flying saucers did it before they believe that because Islam is a real, tangible, fundamental threat. That terrorism is a real, tangible, fundamental threat. And if they admit that, they admit that there are things that we have to do as a society and as a culture and as a people that they don't want to do. First among those things being wake up. Yeah, that's my avatar. And my hair has been gray going on white for years. All my pictures are out of date. All my cartoon pictures are out of date too. In case you were wondering, I'm sitting here next to. I screwed up. I really got to stay away from the fast food ordering thingamies because. Okay, I managed to. I already ordered two or three times this week, but today I said, okay, I'll just order one more time, and I put in an order, and they had this deal, a coupon, a digital coupon. For Burger King, $20 party pack. Well, I can eat on that for a while. I eat that. A couple of meals out of that. There's like two Whoppers, 2 cheeseburgers, 2 chicken sandwiches, 2 nuggets, and you get the idea. and I already, but the site glitched, and it ended up firing through 2 orders. So I ended up buying I ended up spending about $50 on Burger King food. I tried to call them. But all I got was a busy signal. Their phone systems are buggered up. And I couldn't contact them. I couldn't stop the order. I couldn't, By the time the guy got here, I was like, screw it, heck with it. And I got a refrigerator full of Burger King bags now. I have French fries in my fridge. That's the definition of forlorn hope. There's no way they're going to be edible by the time I'm going to pull them out. Let's heat them up in the microwave. I'll take these fries and I'll stick them in the toaster oven or something. And I went, herp. So if you feel like dropping $1 or $2 in the hat, it would be greatly appreciated right now, because I've turned 50 of my too few dollars into burgers. It's like, I like a crap, But the food's fairly tasty. The food, all the food you get, that you can order is, it's tasty when it's hot and fresh. But, none of it is, I can stick this in the fridge and eat it later kind of stuff. Or very little of it is. And burgers and fries don't really fall under that category. Now, wow, I made this avatar for myself with the gray hair and this cartoon face, because I noticed that even people that do all audio shows like I do, they'll have a little cartoon icon there, like clownfish TV on YouTube. They have 2 little cartoon faces there that sort of bob up and down while they're talking. They don't move or anything. They just sort of wibble in place a little bit. And I was like, I'll put a face up here. Yay! And I got an audience of 5 freaking people. 5! Okay, go out and put some of your friends and neighbors and family members in a hammerlock and drag them in front of there so I can say I've got more audience. I would like to break... Someday I would like to break 2 digits. An audience of tens of people. Ugh. I talked about this on my last show that nobody watched. I know there's another thing that they're trying. Look, the real reason that they're pushing so many gay characters in kids shows these days, they're trying to normalize homosexuality to little kids to make them easier to prey on. Look, you hateful bigot monger speaking, conspiracy tinfoil hat nutcase. No, let's start with the basics. The LGBTQ, BBQ, WTF, I don't know. The alternate lifestyle society. Let's call them all that. The gays and all of them together. Gay, bi, gays, bisexuals, transsexuals, all the way to people who sexually identify as attack helicopters. They all come down to about 5%. That's all of them together. 5% of the population, and that's with a generous estimate. Now, the percentage of sexual assaults against underage, against underage victims, particularly prepubescent children. I forget what the percentage is. I can look it up here. Percentage. Can't type. Homosexual men, they do molest boys at rates grossly disproportionate to the rates of society at large. Homosexual men represent like 1 to 3% of the population in their own. And the percentage of sexual assaults overall, I'm looking for the number. A bug flew in my mouth. Blah. Well, basically, according to this, almost all sex crimes against children are committed by men. And up to a third of all sex crimes against children are committed against boys. Homosexuals comprise about 3% of the population. Straight homosexuals. Ugh. Look at where the language has taken us. But just plain homosexual men, they represent about 3% of the population. And yet 33% of the sexual assaults against young boys are committed by men. Grossly disproportionate. Those are the ugly, unpleasant, politically unpleasant facts. Hate to break it to you. Now, pardon. Look, there's even in the homosexual culture, there's, they have an entire vernacular for men who, shall we say, initiate younger men into the lifestyle. Chicken hawks, veal hounds. There's nothing innocent about people going and taking kids at an age where they're they hit puberty. They're confused about they got these hormones boiling up inside them. They're feeling things they never even knew existed before. They don't know what it means, and here comes a gay man to tell. Now, considering that the homosexual community makes up less than 3% of the population, don't you think that we should go with a majority when talking about kids? The mainstream, the vast majority of kids are going to be straight. Even if you accept the argument. But what they're doing is they're going in when these kids, he gets, confusing them about what all these sexual feelings mean, and leading them down a primrose path. Simple fact: homosexuals do not reproduce; they recruit. And the way they continue, the way they keep a homosexual subculture going is by convincing incoming young people that they're gay. The fact that they get a boner means that they want a man. It's rubbish too. It's the idea that it's inherent. Look, psychologists have established that a homosexual throughout the course of their life will change their professed orientation at least 2 or 3 times. They'll go from saying they're straight to saying they're gay to saying they're bi to saying they're gay again to back and forth. You remember Roseanne, the TV show, and her she had that one dim bulb friend who went around. Through the course of the show, she married the town loser, had a kid, decided she was gay, went out, got bored, decided she was straight again, decided she couldn't find a guy, decided to be gay again. It was a joke, but that's the reality of the picture. Look, it's a very simple thing. You take somebody and not to be crude, but you take somebody and put them in the right circumstances. You take somebody and rub their rhubarb. You're going to manipulate them emotionally, sexually, and hormonally. And setting all this aside, the fact that look, even if it was genetic, look, there is more solid scientific evidence that alcoholism has a genetic, attribute. It literally has to do with the serotonin uptake in a person's brain. People who are prone to alcoholism, turns out, they also have a variation in their serotonin uptake receptors in their brain. It makes them more susceptible to addiction. Even acknowledging that, we still hold an alcoholic accountable. Let me put it this way, say, I can't help being homosexual. Well, congratulations. Want a cookie? Do you or do you not choose who you are going to have sex with? Do you or do you not choose who you are going to have sex with? You're not like a pine tree standing out there scattering pollen all over the place and letting it waft where the wind may. You're a human being, and your choice of a mate is a matter of conscious selection. Just like every other choice you make. And there are choices that you make. There are things that people desperately want to do that morality and reason both tell them, don't do this thing. As attractive as it is, don't do it. It's the fundamental pivot of drug addiction, alcoholism, smoking, to all the way up to resisting the urge to commit acts of violence. There's nothing more natural than getting incredibly angry at somebody who pisses you off. How long would somebody last? They walk up, I can't help it. God made me this way, and just punch somebody out in the middle of the street. Tap them out right there. I can't help it. I have to punch somebody at random. I'm an anger sexual. Tire iron running through the neighborhood. Pung, 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 pung. Lust is just another sin like wrath. You're still responsible for the choices you made. You don't get to abdicate your being to your dick or to your cooch. And that was our sermon for the day. Thank you very much. This is what they're pushing. They pushing homosexuality, at younger and younger ages. Back when they started pushing it, trying to get these gay leaning sex ed advocacies in public schools for kids that were at puberty, and now they're pushing it on kids who are barely into kindergarten, who don't even haven't got the faintest clue what sex is. Because they want to normalize. They want to normalize, they want to normalize aberrant behaviors so that when the child is assaulted, they're that much more hesitant to raise a warning flag, you know. You know, if you've ever read Brave New World by Huxley, there's an entire section where they're visiting a creche where the children of various castes are being, you know, raised up into their slot in life, and one of the lessons in the class is, you know, teaching the children to be sexually open to everyone, and basically going around, you know, grabbing each other by the genitals and playing doctor and just normalizing it. This and the tranquilizal visit is broken up when one child responds in a way you would expect a regular, healthy, normal child to, and gets upset when another little kid runs up and grabs his good and plenties. He starts crying and bawling and calling for the creche nurse, and you know, they come over and they immediately start chiding and lecturing him for being so selfish sexually. You know, we'll have to put him through rehabilitation so that he gets over this unhealthy, so that he's more accepting of open sexuality. And you know, say what you will about Huxley, he was saw through telescopes. You know what I'm saying? We cannot look askance at any lifestyle, no matter how perverse, without it being accused of being a Nazi, literally. You think homosexuality is perverse? You want to stuff little babies in ovens! That's screwed up. Life is screwed up. I don't know. Well, in fact, I do know. I just don't know where to go from here. I don't know, you know, where's the leaping off point here. You'll have to excuse me for being tired of the subject, you know, because it's all around you, you know. You never get a break from it. You never get a break from it. Because, you know, in our society, we are inundated with it. You know, and short of, short of living atop a mountain, there's no real way to get away from it. The 30-year-old groomer meme. The feed is being finicky. It'll probably straighten out in a minute or two. Don't know if you can hear it, Mira. Oh, there we go. Excellent connection. Boom. Let's move on to something else. Anything else? Ask me some questions about the fan fictions I've been reading, because the fan fictions are what I've been working on. Like, I just got story, a little bit of story idea in my head, and that's the only thing that seems to be squeezing out of my brain anymore. So let's go with that. Okay. Do you have any questions? Let's see here. Okay. Anything you'd like to talk about? Let's see. I got the spit a bug out. I'm not kidding. A little gnat just flew in my mouth. Did a chapter of Ladybird. Did a chapter of Coyote. Did a chapter before that of Deku the Warcrafted. Now the story of the Deku the Warcrafted, it's getting away from the original one. The original plan was that Deku was the only, Izuku was going to be the only one. He comes out a paladin, which he did. And now I'm basically going to be trooping half of Class 1A through the Lost Workshop and having them come out the other side with various gimmicks. But they're not all going to be World of Warcraft stuff. They're all going to be from various, from different franchises. I've already hit the Avatar: The Last Airbender. Be on the lookout for another one that's going to be from Pokemon. And, well, I haven't decided yet. And there will be at least one reference to the Green Lantern. And also to the Avengers. I got this all in my head. It's like, it's sitting in my brain. It's sitting in my brain waiting for an exit. I have no idea what's wrong with this digital feed. I have no idea how to fix it. You know, they give you these error messages. They don't give you any help files. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Good luck guessing at what's wrong, plebeian. That's how you know it was designed by a tech head and not by a customer service guy. Come on, computer, giddy up. Giddy up. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. Got nothing else on here, and it's just being a bitch. Are you out there? Can you hear me? Do you see what I see? Oh, you read the Warcrafter just the other day. It was my... I introduced you into the Worm fandom. My condolences. Seriously, though, I think Worm could be done as an anime by the guy that did Evangelion. Of course, I hope they get it. If they ever do, I hope they get a different animator, because the guy that the lead guy on Genesis Evangelion, the reason it was so screwed up, they say he was going through serious depression and was heavily medicated at the time. I'm like, if they make him go through Worm, he's probably going to end up blowing his own brains out. Be like, and then the Slaughterhouse 9 with Bonesaw. But, oh yeah, I heard about this. Trump has been tested positive for COVID. And he's been quarantined and isolated and everything else. This should be interesting. Who's the Senate Minority Leader? What's her name? I can't remember her name. Come on, computer, giddy up. I love it. I try to look up information. Don't know, Oh yeah. She's got the best doctors in the world, and it's not as dangerous a virus as everybody wants to think. So that sound you hear is every Democrat in Congress masturbating furiously once they heard the news. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there you go. Now you're stuck with a mental image of Nancy Pelosi rubbing one out to the news that the president has the COVID virus. Imagine the look. Imagine the sounds. And then she keels over dead from a heart attack, and they find her with that expression still frozen on her face. Of course, she always has that expression frozen on her face. Somebody smiling in terror as the Rottweiler charges towards him. He's friendly. That's what she looks like. She looks like somebody who's scared to death of dogs being confronted with somebody's family pet. You mean they can vote for me? Nancy Pelosi, yes. Who else in Congress looks like her face was stretched like saran wrap? Come on! Oh man alive, it's just unbelievable. I got stuck. My brain's stuck right now. I'm talking to my, I've got, they've got home care for me. They got a nurse that comes in, twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Make sure I'm not dead, or have horrible things growing on me. I guess, Last time she was here, I begged her to talk to the nurse, the doctor, whoever's in charge, of get me on some antibiotics. Had a nasty cut on my leg. Some little black fly got her, and I had to clean the wound out, and the less time that happened, last time I had to go through that, I ended up a few days later, I ended up in the hospital, sucking down antibiotics by the quart. I'd kind of like to cut that off at the pass, I know all these doctors, we don't want to give you too many antibiotics because, because everybody in society is taking too many antibiotics. And I don't freaking care, okay? I don't care at this point. I just don't want, suppurating sores. I don't want, I don't want infections crawling up through my leg. I don't want that crap. I'll worry about becoming, immune to antibiotics or resistant to antibiotics or all that other crap. But right now, I need the medicine. They should be deciding medicine on a person-by-person basis, not on a culture-by-culture one. Society speaking, That's the problem with all these political movements that, dig their way into healthcare like a tick. They're interested in society. They're not interested in the patient. They're not doing what's best for the patient in the short or long run. They're doing what's best for society, and society is a shit patient because it does whatever the hell it wants. doctor is supposed to be a doctor, not a social engineer. There are side effects with taking too many antibiotics. Yeah, well, that's great. You made it impossible for me to get genuine antibiotics over the counter. Except for topical crap. And what's the result been? On at least 3 different occasions, I've come down with infections that were so bad that they had to call me off to the hospital in an ambulance, hook me up to an IV, and dump quarts of antibiotics down inside me anyway. Let's talk about a little preventative medicine here. It's bad for people to be taking so many antibiotics. Well, it's bad for people, but currently it would be kind of good for me. I'd rather, I live in a dirty, nasty trailer, and I do what I can. I scrub down, hot soapy water. I've taken to pouring peroxide on both my legs, on both my lower legs, just for that little extra effort, to try and keep them, keep any infections from starting up. Now, I've got little tubes. I go through the triple antibiotic ointment like it's water. So let's talk about some internal measures that can keep me, a little bit more on the not rotting to death side of life. I got nystatin topical powder, nystatin ointment. Those are antifungals, and then I have to buy my own triple antibiotic ointment. To deal with the viruses, not the viruses, the bacteria, and that's only topical, Hello, let's see who we got. We got Sesquame, YouTuber 1752, Ben Shakar, and Shadow Hunt. Ouch. Every time I get a little twitch or pain in my leg, I'm like, oh God, here we go again. Am I going to call the ambulance tonight? This is what I'm talking about. I have to sit and play the waiting game with all sorts of people, because I'm like one patient out of who knows how many dozens that they have to see every day. And no one person can be, intimate caring. I see a different nurse each time. It's not one nurse that's assigned to me. So, this is not really a good thing. I don't know why they do it that way. It's a scheduling thing, basically. There you have it. But, we've got 7 people in channel. 7 people watching. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control and I think I like it. Yeah. Dang it, I don't, Trump is wasting, the debates, I know most people, there are a lot of people that don't like Trump's personality. That's a dumb reason to not to listen to the man. Because he's rough and abrasive. He's, when he first started, I heard one guy compare, one spokesperson comparing, he's a lot like a doctor with poor bedside manner. Comes in, sees the patient, tells them that they need to stop smoking and lose weight. And the patient is too busy being, disgruntled at the doctor being so blunt that they don't listen to what the doctor's telling them. Now, I'm sorry, the debate, I didn't see the debate. I've heard about the debate. It's a waste of time, I think. Because no matter how well Trump spoke, no matter how many points he may have made, no matter how many facts he may have put forward, it's always been the same story. A Republican debating a Democrat, a conservative debating a liberal, is like playing chess with a pigeon. Okay. You debate a liberal, it's like playing chess with a pigeon. They strut around, puff out their chest, knock half the pieces off the board, crap on the table, and then strut around and puff and puff themselves up like they won. So, oh my. Okay, I've got to run to the restroom. I gotta go pie. I'll be right back. Y'all hang on. Let's see here. I will be right back. Enjoy the music. And I am back. Dilly 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 dilly. Dilly dilly. I used to have all sorts of little messages up on here. I've forgotten which button does which. That's no good. And naturally, the instant I sit back down, the feed goes to crap. Typical. Alright. Paddock Swimming to Sea. No, I have not seen it. I didn't even know it existed. I've never seen that movie. No, I've never seen Paddock Swimming to Sea. Can safely say no. Feeling winded. Just ran better. Got a little stinging pain in my leg here. It's faded now, and I have no idea what. You know, every little pinch, every little itch, every. Ben Shakar, don't see the movie. Okay, good. I've never heard of it. Was never planning on seeing it. So, hooray! Problem solved. I'm slowly managing to get some of the trash out of my house, bag at a time. Slowly. Figured out a system to get the bags of trash into the trash cans outside. I know it sounds silly, but for me, getting up and down the front steps, that's a 5-minute job, and I have to do it backwards, so... Noticing a smell, and I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. I hate that. You ever catch a smell and you're like, is that me? Oh man, that is the worst. That is the worst. Because sometimes it is you. It's... Oh, anyway, let's see. Okay, folks. What all have you got on your minds? Ask some questions. Give me some feedback. Give me some feed in the live chat window. Questions, comments, shoe flinging. I don't know. This is me sitting here waiting for you to talk. Speak! Speak! Any worm fix I'd recommend? There's a few I've read that I like. Got a few of my own. One that'll really take you off the rails is called Taylor Varga. I don't want to tell you too much about it. Basically, if you've ever seen the rather truncated anime Luna Varga, it's actually a crossover with that. But it becomes its own thing. It's larger. The Taylor Varga, the fanfiction, is actually longer than Worm now, and it's still going strong. And it's become its own thing. Yeah, I can't. You know, I could spend hours describing it, and it wouldn't even come close to explaining it. Go ahead and look it up, read it. It's pretty awesome. I don't know if I'm a member of the Worm fandom so much as anything. I don't know if you call it me being a member of the fandom. I spend more time complaining about the thing than I do actually, than I did actually reading it. I read the thing all the way through. I read Worm all the way through once. And let me put it this way: I spent my time reading it, and I read it, and I read it, and I read it. And the reason I kept reading it is because I kept going, it can't get much worse. It can't get any worse. This has got to be the point where the story turns around and things start getting. It never did. With the tragic story of a girl who got stuffed, by her bullies into a locker full of rotting tampons. Yes, that's where it starts, and it ends with that literally sacrificing her own mind to save humanity from a mad cosmic entity. And her reward is getting 2 bullets to the brain. Even more, I wouldn't say bat poo insane, but I would say it's even more even more angsty and cynical. And the sequel is called Ward, W-A-R-D. And it follows an entirely different main character, so after the end of the world in Worm. Any Questar stuff coming? Everything's on its way. Wild Wired Weasel. I've been kind of stuck in a rut. I've just I don't know. I've just before my time, and I just run out of that energy. I've got to find a way to revitalize myself about my stories and about my comic strips and stuff. But let's just say after 20 years of doing this, 20 years basically. Holy crap! I've flogged a lot of the enthusiasm out of me. It's kind of sad. My skills have grown, my talents have grown. My skills with artwork and such have improved, but my creativity and my enthusiasm have just tanked. I don't know. Maybe I need endorphins or serotonin or something. Seriously, I'm kind of wondering if maybe, not clinically depressed, just clinically down gear shifted. I heard one guy describe that this is the best description I've ever heard of depression. This was a description of serious depression. Imagine you woke up one morning and all food, No matter what it was, hot, cold, sweet, sour, didn't matter. All food tasted like mashed potatoes. Plain, unsalted mashed potatoes. Everything. Imagine what that would do to your appetite. Imagine you can get hungry, and you can eat the food, and you don't really get the satisfaction of filling up, and you don't, and the taste is gone, and he described it, but you eat because you have to, to keep yourself going. But as time goes by, you eat less and less, and you have no enthusiasm for it, because no matter what you do, nothing is satisfying. Nothing, it'll stop you from being hungry for a little while, but it won't fill you up. Nothing satisfies. Nothing tastes good. And your friends come around and they say, they try and talk to you about, they try and help by telling you to use new recipes or add spices or, and all this other fairly, usually good advice, and well-meaning good advice, but they don't seem to get the point that the whole problem is that, even with all the spices and new recipe, it still all tastes like mashed potatoes. They don't understand that that's the original problem, and that all their suggestions won't do anything to fix it. And I said that's the best description I've ever heard. That's the best description I've ever heard of clinical, real serious clinical depression. It's not that I have been diagnosed with depression myself, not that I've gone through depression or that I have it or anything like that. Maybe I do, but I've never been diagnosed with it. But I heard that description and it was like a light went on. I comprehend the concept, and when you're depressed, that was the point they're going across. When you're depressed, it's not like you're just wallowing in the pits of despair all the time. It's just that, the world has turned to mashed potatoes. And you can't find any enthusiasm for it. And I'm afraid as I've gotten older and certain things have gotten harder to do, I'm afraid that, all the enthusiasm I had is, everything's turning to mashed potatoes. When will the archives work? The archives should be working. You have to scroll down a bit and poke at it, but they're there. I gotta ask Daniel about that. See about changing those buttons up, making them more classical buttons for left and right. Little arrows and stuff. The way he's got it is, it's functional, but it's not very easy to use. Not ease of usage. Okay, Camera Shy. It's a worm fic. It's a worm fanfic. What is Camera Shy about? I have no clue. I've never read it. I'll have to look it up. But give me the breakdown on what it's like, what it's about. Synopsis. Elevator pitch. Hit me. Hit me. Hit me. Oh. Clinically apathetic. That's a good one for you, Wild Weird. WW. That's a pretty good description of it too. For a brief peek there, we had 8 whole people in the room. Wow, excitement! Oh my, I gotta, excuse me, beg your pardon. Will you ever get more Goblin Hollow? I don't know. I don't know. I'm at a point where I'm going one day at a time, trying to, in between trying to drag my ass out of bed and drag the trash out of my house and sit down and spend a half hour, sit down 2 or 3 times a day and fuss over my legs like a well, I don't know, like what, like a nurse tending a corpse. I'm trying. I could sit here all day saying I'm trying, but I'm just. I do not know. I don't know anything anymore. I don't mean to bring y'all down. I don't go to all this trouble to try and go online and try and pep up my energy and touch base with people. And hey, guess what? I'm not dead. Yay! I didn't choke to death on a cheeseburger yet. You see me say my name, his name, who's Nip and Tuck. Will Nip get back at Hortense? Don't know. I've had some ideas for ever since Nip and Tuck got married to Hortense and not Hortense. Ever since Nip and Tuck got married to Thelma and Zelda. I've had some ideas for some pretty salacious short story arcs and jokes. You gotta figure, but I've never had anybody come out and criticize Nip and Tuck. Take note that both Nip and Tuck end up marrying a girl They both end up marrying a girl who has low self-esteem. Zelda was when she first appeared, she was this shy, whispery little wallflower, and Thelma was just basically convinced that she was too ugly for public, and she was chasing the boys more out of habit than anything. And I'm surprised nobody jumped on that. Nobody with a social justice chip on their shoulder didn't jump on that. Oh, you think that you're projecting. You only want one. The only kind of woman you want to deal with one was no self-esteem. Oh, indeed. Try to do something. One of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to, just to get out of the doldrums, I'm just going to, I've started posting bits and pieces of online art, of just random art bits. No, not comic strips or anything, just, sketches and stuff of the characters and such. To, just to put something up on the site. Stretch my brain, my art muscles a little bit. I meant, yeah, yes, I know, Wild Wired. I said Hortense by mistake. What I meant was Thelma and Zelda. I picked the awfulest names for girls in that comic strip. I swear I do. Thelma, Zelda. It's like names that nobody would touch with a 10-foot pole these days. LaFonda. I guess ice water. Huh? Try voting Democrat. That should inspire me. To what? Move to Canada? Canadians have got to be sick of hearing all the people down here in America. If we don't like how the election turned out, we're moving to Canada, and they're like sitting there in their front yards like hell you are. Bill Burr. Bill Burr, is that his name? The comedian. He was talking about it. He said, he can't get over. He's talked to people that have actually been up in Canada, and he says he had a couple of black friends who went up to Canada, and he asked, and apparently they had some hair-raising stories about just being treated with just absolute bigotry. Are you sure you weren't? He's like, are you sure you weren't in Alabama? I said, no, Montreal, man. Why did Nip and BB not work out? Well, because there always has to be at least one unrequited love, story-wise. BB, in case you didn't notice, when her rather limited appearance, she was the flighty one, bit of a bubblehead. And she was attracted to guys that were bad for her. I didn't really want to dig too deep into that, but yeah, she even though Gus Guthrie was abusive to her, she was all like, "He's my man," and right back to his side. And she finally had to break up with him for good, and I had just for mercy's sake, I had some outsider come in and become her new beau. I haven't shown her or him since. So, well, I've had her appear a couple of times, but I haven't had her new boyfriend. Her new boyfriend is a cougar, by the way. I haven't had either of them. Haven't had them back together. Shown them together. But yeah, the Janine, Sasha, and BB. They're sort of the three of them are starting to suffer a little bit of old maid syndrome. They're hurtling along through their 20s at high speed, and they haven't settled down yet, and they're starting to get they're handling it in different ways. BB, by latching on to whatever man was available, she lucked out and ended up with a decent guy, because I'm just that kind of writer. Sasha is starting to feel like the matriarch of the group, and Sasha, Sasha feel like the matriarch of the group, and Janine, the mouse, she's got a little bit of a mean streak in her. She's not quite the marrying type. You gotta realize the Nip and Tuck and Thelma and Zelda, they're just hitting their 20s now. So the current trio, Pops Auto trio, the Pops Auto girls, are closing in on 30. In fact, I believe Sasha is probably 30 by now. I was at one point. I was going to do a strip where, I was planning on doing a strip where after the harvest dance, with Nip driving BB home, and I was going to have her crack a joke about she was so tired of me. She ought to try and get being a lesbian a try again, just to have Nip drive off the road. It would turn out that that at a sorority party in college, she'd had one drink too many and swapped spit with one of her sorority sisters, then threw up all over her. And thus endeth her wild lipstick lesbian lifestyle. I remember seeing I remember seeing a picture drawn by one of my haters of Hortense and Thelma, both dressed in rainbow pride T-shirts and prancing down the road, hand in hand, talking about how they were so glad they gave up boys for each other. I ain't kidding you. I got some haters out there, man. I'm a hater myself, so probably deserve them. Had one pervoid. The guy that draws. What's the name of that? It's a heavily Christian themed Fox comic strip. Is Vicky Fox. The guy that draws Vicky Fox contacted me by email and informed me that there was a guy. This guy. Well, what it is, there was this guy who was drawing porn of his Vicky Fox characters and posting it on a website. full-on hardcore, full-bore hardcore porn of the characters, and he was suing the guy to get him to stop. And in the process of doing disclosure and research, he found several pictures on the guy's website of my characters. And so I had to send a cease and desist order too. The art was crap, by the way. Looked like something a high school kid would doodle on their notebooks. What species of lizard is Hortense? Green wriggly one. Lizardus feministicus. I don't know. Just a lizard. I'm guessing she's got a little bit of chameleon in her. I don't know. It's... What species? You caught me, you know. Oh my. But let's see. Let's see. I'm serious. The guy that was drawing his art is crap. And the kid, he's just enough that the characters are recognizable. But everything else is, and he's out there making a living at it, for crying out loud. He posts his shitty art and his crappy art and his crappy porn video games. Yeah, porn flash video games on hosting site, and apparently rakes in a few bucks. We had to chase him off at least 2 or 3 different servers with cease and desist orders. Species of lizard. I don't know. I'm going to say, I know there are 2 kinds of chameleon. The true chameleon and the so-called fake chameleon. I don't know what the second fake chameleon is called. They both change. They're both lizards. They both change color. Why they got to be hating on the other one? I don't know. We live in a strange world, man. They recently found a frog, a real live frog in the rainforest that looks exactly like Kermit the Frog. Here, let me find it. Let me find a picture. Let's try real live Kermit. It's called a glass frog. It was discovered in Costa Rica. Let me, there it is. Look at that. Look at that. Let me hide my talking head here. Look at that. The felt Kermit the Frog and the real Kermit the Frog. The little glass frog. Look at that. Is that or is that not freaky? Yeah, the reason Kermit looks the way it is, he originally Jim Henson said he wasn't supposed to be a frog in particular. He was just a frog-like puppet thing. They made it out of a old felt coat, and the eyeballs, the ping pong, the weird-looking eyes. I believe it was because he used a black marker to mark out the brand name of the ping pong ball. And here we go. All that little glass frog is missing is a frilled collar. Good freaking grief, It's things like this that make It's things like this that make me go, I think God's having one on us. I think God's jerking our chains a little bit. Having fun, somewhat at our expense, so to speak. Because think about it. Thousands and thousands of years that frog sat out there in the middle of the rainforest in Costa Rica, waiting, just waiting, if they had found the frog a century earlier, just 100 years earlier, everybody would say that Jim Henson was imitating the frog. If they'd found it 100 years later, nobody would know the reference. Just right now, this little window of history, this little window of time in history, and we stumble across this little live frog that's doing a perfect Kermit imitation. I bet they're going out in the rainforest waiting till we hi-ho. That's nothing. It's okay. Okay, I'm gonna turn on the talking head. Is that not freaky? Okay, now I'm gonna look something up here. I'm just gonna. That's not even the least of it. They made this discovery in Brazil. I thought it was, is this photoshopped? Is this photoshopped? I'm like, and I looked it up, and I checked it up, No, it's real. I'm not sure if I should show you this because. Okay, just. Okay, I'll show you this, because this is this video is probably going to get censored or something, because check this out. They found this in Brazil. It's not a snake. It's actually what they call a blind. It's a legless salamander. It's blind. But look what it looks like. Oh, I'm getting out of there. I just don't want my head news there. Look at that! Do I need to say what that looks exactly like? I saw this on here. Oh, this has got to be fake. No, it's real. Double check, triple snake. double check, triple check. It's and I'm like, geez, and I just, Lord, okay, God, okay, what? And more importantly, why? I'm just leaving that up there for for a minute or so, because it looks, just, I reached a point where, just, okay, God put it out in the, God put it out in the jungle for everybody to see, so I'm going to put it on the computer for the audience to see, because, there it is. I'm like, what the doodly hoo-ha? It's just, how'd you like to be out in the rainforest and wake up to see that crawling through your tent? What's wrong with my live stream here? Look at that. Just what the heck? Think about it, umpty thousand years, God puts that thing out in the middle of the Brazil rainforest. All I can picture is him. One of the angels is standing there, just looking. Lord, it looks like a yes, that's the idea. But it's out in the middle of the rainforest. It's out in the middle of the rainforest where no human beings are. It's going to be thousands of that. Yeah, wait for it. Wait for it. They're going to be out there, and 10,000, okay, it's 3,000 years, 2,000 years, 500 years, okay, we got 100 years, 50s, oh, they're about to find it, wait for it, they found it, and they're freaking out about it. That's what crossed through my mind, man. I don't know who Rantu of the Shadows is. I believe he's blocked here. He's going to have to go Rantu somewhere else. You realize that this program is going, this video is probably going to get banned or something from having that image. They'll have the digital automated robo artificial intelligence searching thingamajiggy is just going to find that image and crap its pants. Oh yeah, I heard about we heard about the whiptail lizard. Yeah, no, she's not a whiptail lizard. We're not going to have any freaky big clone baby. We got some serious lag going on here. There's an image you're not going to see on Wild Kingdom. Okay, excuse me. I'll be right back. Enjoy la música. I am back. The little grey-haired man. He stares into your soul. How y'all doing? Got an audience of 7 people. Down from a peak of 9. What the heck? Have I ever compiled something like the Silmarillion for the Quest of First No? But I did have. I've not most of the mythology for the Questerverse is in my head, but I do have on the DVD in the archives of the comic strip. There's a pages from the journals of Ennius Longscript, the first human to travel into the 7 villages, into Antilia. Giving a lot of the Rakonan culture and folklore in their and sketches of their architecture, that kind of thing. It also has a bestiary, some of the more unique monsters. I think I was pushing a little bit with those. I was trying a little too hard to be unique, but stinky. Oh, phew. Okay, Rantu didn't. Okay, Rantu. I thought maybe that there was some sort of automated blocker, but I don't know. I don't know what the heck is there. I'm sorry I accidentally disparaged you. Okay, we got 9 people in channel 9. 9! Concurrent viewers 8. One says concurrent viewers 8, the other says concurrent viewers 9. Come on, what is this? Quit toying with me. This. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Dems crying foul after Trump's Walter Reed's doctors say this about his condition. Read more debate here. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, beg your pardon. Okay, you're asking for fan fictions? Let's see here. One I'd recommend is Wyvern. Worm fan fiction is Wyvern. Let's see if I can find the link. It's on Space Battles. It's also on fanfiction.net. Let's see here. Well, pretty much anything by ACK1308. ACK1308. He's got, I haven't really read any of his stories that I didn't enjoy. A lot of his stories have been on hiatus for quite a while, but he is updating. He's just got a lot of stories to update. So he may not get to the one you just recently finished anytime soon. Well, apparently Donald Trump, he's doing fine right now. He's got 95%, 96% saturation for oxygen. He's not going to need oxygen, and it looks like he's going to be fever free for he's been fever free for 24 hours. So going forward, he's looking, he looks fairly good. And that sound is Nancy Pelosi crying into her beer. Oh, my butt. Oh, my. Seriously, ACK 1308. Definitely an excellent writer. I'd recommend anything, just about anything by him. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Let's see. Digging through this, digging through this, digging through that. Okay. Clicking this link, closing the link, closing the link, closing the link. There we go. That should improve things. All right. Well, good night, WWW. Drive careful out there. The world's full of crazy. Oh my. Gonna regret those Burger King burgers and stuff. I will. I'm gonna eat them. I'm not gonna waste them. It costs too darn much. That's why I've been up and down so often this past night. Updated the store recently was a crossover with some fiction I didn't recognize. Which story would that be? Which story was updated? Let's see. I updated Coyote. I updated Ladybird. I updated Deku the Warcrafted. I'm working on the next chapter of Coyote. Slow going, as everything is these days. Okay, Deku the Warcrafted is sort of a continuation of the Warcrafter. So it's a fanfiction. It's a sequel of a fanfiction. There's a fanfiction that's a crossover between World of Warcraft and Worms. So you got a little World of Warcrafter, got a little Worm, got a little My Hero Academia, all thrown together in a blender. Gets interesting after that point. Okay, just checking something. Yep. I'm starting to slow down a little bit. It's been it's been over 2.5 hours since I started this stream. 34 playbacks, 7 concurrent viewers. Dun, 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 dun. Concurrent viewers, chat rates, playbacks. I think maybe what I'm going to do for the next couple of days is just draw whatever I want to draw, whatever pops into my head. And if it's related to one strip or the other, I'll post it. Hurrah, hurrah! And even if it's not, I'll post it anyway. Okay, like I was saying, It showed a picture of this picture of Tip O'Neill and this teeny tiny little cartoonist climbing up and planting a flag on top of his head, saying, "Because he was there." You have to admire. You have to admire the honesty of it. Let's see. Let's see if I can find a. Okay, we got some pictures of Tip O'Neill here. Well, it doesn't look like you're going to have that particular editorial cartoon anywhere. But it was, I don't think they had. I don't think they. I don't think that editorial cartoonists had it anywhere as easy until Donald Trump first ran for president. An orange-faced guy with a comb over. Thank you, Jesus. But gotta wonder about that. I really think that the reason Trump, used that fake tan stuff, and I'm assuming it's a fake tan. I think the reason he let it get so bad like that is because to keep people off their guard. I think he was playing with people's heads. Because, like I said before, he's got that strategy behind him. He's one of those people that if you think you've got the upper hand of him in a deal, count your pocket change. Check your wallet, and then count all your rings, then all your fingers, and then your next of kin. People are throwing a fit because it turns out he paid almost nothing in taxes. Well, the thing of it is, this is the thing. He did it legally. Is that he hired tax attorneys and had them do his taxes, and with all the businesses and all the different ways of doing tax, they went through the tax code and made sure he paid as little as possible. That's how it's supposed to be. And I'm sorry, there isn't a one of us. There's nobody out there, not even these pretentious, snotty millionaires who are going around talking about how I wouldn't mind having to pay more taxes. Yeah, you're great. You're great to pay more taxes. A 50% hike in taxes is. But to the rest of us down here, it's the end of the world. Piss off. But anyway, they, even these people that go around, the guy that wrote Margaritaville, what's his name? Well, the millionaire. He's the multi-billionaire going around talking about how, bullshit. He has somebody do his taxes, and he makes sure to get every deduction he can. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, we got a problem here with lots of politicians, particularly congressmen, who don't pay the taxes they are determined to owe. Those guys I got a problem with. They're on the record as being on the hook for like umpty $1,000 or even several $1,000,000, and they're not paying their taxes, and nobody's hauling them off to jail. You or I, we forget to make a $100 payment, and we're hosed. It's off to Club Fed for us. But no, Trump did exactly what he was supposed to do. Paid as little as he could. Legally. And he did exactly what everybody else does. Did the best he could to pay as little as he could. It's just that when you're a multi-millionaire, you can actually afford to hire somebody other than H&R Block to do your taxes. You can afford to you can afford to hire somebody personally to handle your finances and comb the tax laws for you, while those of us down at the poor end of the stick have to deal with things through TurboTax. You know what I'm saying? It's not his fault either. He did exactly what he was supposed to. Meanwhile, the people who are criticizing Trump for paying low taxes are the ones who owe taxes, millions in taxes, and aren't paying. And yet are still walking around free men and women. So kiss my butt. Warren Buffett. Well, fine. There's a Jimmy and a Warren. I don't care. I don't care about either one of them. So in other words, the little $700 number is just a please remit additional payment line, not the total owed line. Oh, not a surprise. If Liar's Pants actually did catch on fire, television would be a lot more entertaining to watch. In the news today, and all of CNN bursts into flames. Oh, look, here, I want to say something. Let's take a moment, just in case anybody's listening. Okay, if you talk about triggers, if you talk about being triggered or how you're being triggered, let's put it this way. You'd better be wearing a uniform, son. Otherwise, shut up. When the phrase triggered is referring to PTSD. So if you're going around claiming that you're triggered or you're suffering post-traumatic whatever, you better have spent some time in a trench with bullets and mortars and bombs falling around you. You better have been over in Kuwait pinned down by a sniper somewhere. All right, you'd better have been in a convoy going through Saudi Arabia. When an IED took out the guy in front of you. You talk to me about being triggered, and oh, you're literally shaking. No, you are not suffering PTSD because your favorite vagina candidate didn't get elected president. Okay, what you're suffering is a temper tantrum. I'm so sick of people talking about, I was literally shaking. No. PTSD is not something you suffer because people refuse to recognize your spectacular, special third gender and the sexuality you picked up off of bad sci-fi porno. You're not traumatized. You're not triggered. Shut up. I'll slap the dye right out of your hair. I'm sick of what set me off about this. This is why I'm talking about this, because they've got this thing on several people who are writing fan fictions have started doing this thing, where they write trigger warnings at the start of the chapter. Oh, this chapter features the death of a character. This chapter features blood. This chapter features this pussies. If you fold up like wet toast because you're reading a Rainbow Bright fan fiction, and there's a violent scene in it, and you fold like wet toast, I ain't gonna put a warning in there. I ain't gonna put a warning on there for that trigger. If that makes damn feed. Okay, it's popping in and out. I don't know why it's doing that. Stupid thing. Well, like I was saying, I'm one of these people that says, we could improve the world greatly by pulling all the warning tags off of everything and letting nature take its course, If you're going to be, if you, if you're going to flip your wig, because somebody used a racist word in a story. Okay, first of all, I'm going to laugh and point at you. Second of all, I'm going to call you a pussy. And third, I'm going to kick you out of the chair because you're getting in my way. I got to play World of Warcraft. Get out! I'd like to put this one in there. Trigger warning. I put all sorts of horrible, politically incorrect things in there in this chapter. And I'm not telling you where they are. You're going to have to find them for yourselves. Good luck. No. Crazy, trigger warnings like the story has porn or incest or stuff like that. That's not a trigger warning. Okay, people who object to that kind of stuff, they're not triggered by it. They object to it. And a little, and that's not a trigger warning. It's a caution. And if you have to put a caution for something like that, maybe you ought to rethink it, The huge gulf between expecting to people be a little bit courteous and expecting them to indulge your every hypersensitive whim. I'm angry with you because I sexually identify as a attack helicopter, and you disrespect. Oh, shut up! I'm upset. People are getting all bent. People were sending me emails about the most recent chapter in Coyote, where the chapter. One of the things in the chapter was that Manita tricked the girls into putting on cheerleader outfits. He told them that they had to compete in the next event in cheerleader outfits, and they you're going to do a cheerleading thing, and they went for it. and a couple of the guys got Coyote and asked him what they should do, because and so what he did is he had a bunch of the weird, the weirdest looking guys in the class put on cheerleader outfits too, and go out and join in the pom-pom parades. And Manita is like, my eyes, To give you an idea, one of the guys looks like a Wookiee. So, sort of brought Manita's world crashing to the ground. I'm a little concerned about how you're going, somebody wrote this commentary. I'm a little concerned after this last chapter with how you dealt with the cheerleading thing, how you're going to deal with the homosexual or bisexual characters that might be coming up in the story in the train, and don't know how you're going to deal with the the transvestite characters that are, oh, shut up. Shut up. I'm concerned. Oh, you're concerned. You're concerned. That means it's freaking important because you're concerned. I had a house cat that got concerned whenever it couldn't see food in the bottom of its bowl. It would push the food around the outside and leave the bottom shiny, and then it would go meow 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 meow. I'm starving. You shake the bowl and all the food would come back to a miracle. You can be concerned as all. You can be concerned as hell and still be an absolute moron. Yeah, which is more dangerous? Which is more dangerous, a loaded machine gun or a woke snowflake? The woke snowflake, because a machine gun only has one trigger. I've had people say, I'm never reading any of your stories again. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split ya. I've had people that literally got so mad at me for my stance that they harassed me right off a story for them. It isn't a fandom anymore. It's a bowl of muesli, a collection of fruits, nuts, and flakes. The music is a little loud. Darn it. Buffering. Open widget. What does widget do? Let's see. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do about that. Let's see here. I swear, all these little information flags that pop up on this YouTube Studio thing. Yeah, there's this old joke. A guy's out there. A guy's out in the middle of the lake in a boat. He's fishing, minding his own business. And he looks up, and a balloon, a hot air balloon, suddenly floats in over the lake and is floating over the lake over his head. And he's looking up at it. What is this? This is a new thing. And up in the balloon, somebody leans out of the gondola and yells down to him. He says, hey, hey down there, hey, we're sort of lost. We got blown off course. Can you tell us where we are? And the guy's sitting, and the guy's sitting there, and he thinks it over for a minute, and he says, okay, and he writes some figures on paper. He said, and then he yells up, okay, you're about 50 feet in the air over the middle of a lake. And the guy, let me get. Sorry about that. My broadcasting thingamajiggy keeps disconnecting and reconnecting for some reason. They updated it recently. That made it better. Okay, there was this YouTube ad shows a girl playing with her dolls and someone was opening her door. And what was it? You remember the day people who complained about excessive sex and violence on TV and things like that. They complained about it. And when we complained about people getting crass and sexual on TV shows, we were made fun of. We were mocked. And now the shoe's on the other foot, and they're peeing their pants over literally everything. 10,000 different things by which they can be triggered or offended. What can you do with that, What does it tell you that about our society that right now the only people who are daring to speak truth to power, in the higher in the higher ranks of popularity and television presence, there are these nasty comedians. They used to be unwelcome, in a conservative, home. These guys came on TV and people would change the channel in a conservative home because they didn't want to hear their potty mouth. And some of these people, they're front and center stage, like Bill Burr, David, the bald black guy, was it David Chappelle? And they came up and and they're the heroes of the right now. They're heroes of the these guys are heroes of the right now because they get up on stage and they say things that people are literally afraid to talk about anymore. And I mean literally. And they they fulfill the role of the court jester now. They fulfill the role of the court jester, speaking truth to power and getting away with it. And they do it by having the audacity to not care. And they get away with it because they're funny. Ugh. I remember it was years ago when I was still working. When I was working at Big Lots furniture department. There was one point my boss and I, my immediate supervisor and I, were standing here shooting the breeze, and he was talking about these customers. We had this set. It was 2 end tables and a coffee table. Very nice looking. They assemble it yourself kind of thing. They came in a box, nice long, big slim box. And the table it was one coffee table and 2 end tables, and you assembled them. They had a glass top, and they were dirt cheap too. They were less expensive than an end table or coffee table by itself of any of the other sets. And he was telling me it's just ridiculous because women, women especially would do this. Women especially. I made a Camp Calamine, got me all sorts of trouble. What these women would do is these women would come in and they say, I need a coffee table. I need not a coffee table, an end table. I need an end table, one end table. And he said, and we go over and my boss said he'd go over there. He'd point to the table set. He'd point to the table set. And he'd say, here, this costs $150. You get 2 end tables and a coffee table for less than you'd pay for one of these end tables over here. It's that way you get everything you want. You get the end table that you want in your budget. And without fail, these women will look at them, oh, but that's more than I want. I'll just go. I'll wait until something else comes along. I was like, what did you want? You wanted an end table. With this, you get an end table. The rest of it, you can do whatever you want with. You can throw it away, give it away to a friend. Or, God forbid, maybe you have 2 matching end tables instead of 1 and a coffee table that matches both. And you get it all for, even if you threw away everything else and kept 1 end table, you were still paying less money than you'd pay for the other product. And they'd still go, oh, well, I just didn't, Well, anyway, he was talking about that. When he started talking about it, he stopped. He literally looked around, looked over his shoulder to make sure there was nobody. I mean, no women and no men, nobody. He was making sure nobody was within earshot of him when he started talking about this and about how women are about shopping. Because we were citing examples of these women, women that would turn down a 3-piece item for less than 1 because it was, they didn't want 2 end tables, and or women that you couldn't explain to them that the 2-for-1 deal was better. And things like that. And it was and how it was always women we encountered that did this. And he looked over his shoulder. He was literally afraid to speak and say what he knew from experience to be true. Because he knew he could get in trouble for it if it got to the wrong person. And they decided to make an issue of it. That is screwed up. This is the future. Not a boot stamping on a human face forever, but rather a huge fat woke SJW with a nose ring and a bowl cut toucan color in your chest, and ramming a bag of crap down your throat with a plunger while screaming that you're oppressing them with your viewpoint at the same time. That's what the future is. Okay, it has been 3 hours. It's been 3 hours, 17 minutes. I think that's enough. I'm running out of wind. I'm running out of steam. I'm pooped. I'm in being de pooping. I'm pooped. Winded. Out. Tired. So we're going to call it a night, okay? We're going to go ahead and call it a night. I want to thank everybody that's been watching. I want to thank everybody that's been reading. And if you feel put upon yourself to help out a little bit, and, prevent artist existence failure, if you'd like to help, okay, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/RHJunior. I have a coffee cup, ko-fi.com/RHJunior. I also have a PayPal button on my homepage at RHJunior.com that you can, drop in a quick dime if you want to. Boogie on, rock on. I also have links on my site for various commissions and links for some of my books, which are still available. Boogie on, reggae woman. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Thank you all for watching. Y'all take care and have a good night.